Welcome to No Tears for Black Girls, a true crime series created, written, and produced by award-winning writer John Reedberg and hosted by Samantha Paul. In the early hours of a chilly December morning in 2020, a security guard patrolling near Cincinnati's Purple People Bridge, a prominent bridge connecting Newport, Kentucky to downtown Cincinnati, made a shocking discovery. Around 3:30 a.m., he found an unusually placed large bag near the edge of the river. With a cautious kick, the bag toppled slightly, revealing its gruesome contents: human remains. This grim find marked the start of a chilling investigation. The police quickly arrived at the scene and identified the remains as those of Nytesha Lattimore, who had been missing for almost a week. Disturbingly, next to her body was a blood-stained Paw Patrol blanket, hinting at the tragic involvement of her 3-year-old son, Nylo, who had been missing since December 4th. The last day Nytesha was known to have been alive. She had parted ways with her ex-boyfriend, Antonio Hughes, on that same day. The community was deeply affected by Nytesha's brutal murder and Nylo's disappearance. Described by her aunt as a devoted and protective mother, Nytesha had a life centered around her children. Antonio, despite their separation, expressed profound concern for his son Nylo, describing him as a gentle child who loved playing dress-up and watching cartoons. As the investigation deepened, further heart-wrenching details emerged. Nylo's blood was found on the Paw Patrol blanket, and his stroller was later found floating near the bridge. The search for Nylo intensified with dive teams scouring the river, as the community rallied support online with the hashtag #FindNylo. The focus of suspicion turned to Deshaun Brown, an acquaintance of Nytesha with whom she had been intermittently involved. Brown had a complex legal history and had reportedly reacted violently months before upon learning about Nytesha's pregnancy and subsequent miscarriage of his child, events that should have evoked sympathy rather than violence. As detectives pieced together more evidence through digital searches and surveillance footage, it became clear that Brown had planned this horrific act for months. He was eventually arrested on murder charges. At a press conference, the district attorney emphasized the gravity of the case and promised that further details would be discussed during Brown's trial. This case struck a nerve far beyond individual wrongdoing. It underscored ongoing concerns about community safety and domestic violence, reminding us that such vulnerabilities exist everywhere. According to reports from December 5th inside Nytesha's apartment, Brown allegedly committed acts almost unimaginable in their cruelty. After fatally stabbing Nytesha, he manipulated her phone to send a message supposedly from her professing eternal love for him. He then concealed her body under their bed only to return the next day and tragically take little Nylo to the river where he threw him into its cold waters while still alive. For the following 5 days, Brown's digital footprint told a story of frantic and disturbed preparation. His Google searches turned to cleaning products, diagrams of Cincinnati's bridges, and advice on erasing blood traces. On December 11th, CCTV captured him purchasing a body bag on eBay at nearly 10 p.m. Moments later, footage showed him lugging a body, presumed to be Nytesha's, through a dimly lit apartment hallway. He escaped in an Uber, telling the driver he was moving house. At the river, evidence suggested he attempted to dump Nytesha's body into the water, though inexplicably, he left it on the riverbank instead. The county grand jury soon returned an indictment charging Deshaun Brown with the murders of both Nytesha Lattimore and her son, Nylo Lattimore, a charge that now carries the potential weight of a death sentence. During his remarks, the district attorney paid unvarnished tribute to the Cincinnati Police Department for their relentless pursuit of the truth, even as he warned anyone with information, especially those connected to Brown's past, that disappearing without a trace would not be taken lightly. His voice trembled as he admitted the deeply personal impact of the crime, particularly when the innocence of a child was involved, insisting that further grim details would be revealed in court. Even as authorities grappled with the magnitude of this heinous crime, the hunt for Nylo continued. despite exhaustive efforts that had combed over 180 miles of the river, with teams on horseback, sniffer dogs, helicopters, and water patrols, and a simultaneous search for 6-year-old James Hutchinson, hope dwindled with each passing hour. As twilight descended upon the Ohio River and incoming rain further complicated the mission, the atmosphere grew heavier. Volunteers and police braved treacherous currents, rivers that appeared serene on the surface but concealed deadly, fast-moving torrents beneath, to scour every possible location. After days of relentless searching, law enforcement confirmed the worst fears. 3-year-old Nylo was dead. No logical reason existed, no plausible explanation at all. In a twisted distortion of trust, she had believed in him, and his betrayal carved deep scars. Even my own son's case tore me apart inside. We plead with you. Don't give up on James. Don't give up on Nylo. Keep them alive in your thoughts and hearts, because every day we yearn for the return of our children, for a proper goodbye. Deshaun Brown stood charged, swiftly indicted on 2 counts of aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and the gross abuse of a corpse. He entered a plea of not guilty, his manner in the courtroom confrontational and disrespectful. The judge repeatedly demanded he cool it and show some decorum. That Christmas day, sorrow cloaked the air. Family and friends gathered beneath the shadow of a bridge, lighting candles and setting up a modest Christmas tree. They placed a large stuffed bear beside a cherished photo of Nylo and Nytesha. Amidst the bittersweet atmosphere, on what should have been Nylo's 4th birthday, they came together to eat cake, exchange gifts, and play with his favorite toys, each moment a stab of pain and longing. The judge sided with the prosecution. He denied the motion to exclude the death penalty due to serious mental illness at the time of the offense. He found Deshaun competent to stand trial, the specter of execution looming. Emotions boiled over in the courtroom when Antonio, Nylo's father, lunged at Brown after receiving news of his son's death. Court officers swiftly removed him. For his outburst under such devastating circumstances, he received a sentence of 7 days behind bars, later reduced to 3. A close friend described him as drowning in inner turmoil and pain, as any grieving parent might react under similar circumstances. Meanwhile, Deshaun remained behind bars while his defense team argued unsuccessfully that he suffered from severe mental illness, which impaired his ability to exercise rational judgment at the time of the offense. Bipolar disorder being one condition recognized under Ohio law, barring the death penalty along with schizophrenia, schizoaffective delusional disorder. Despite presenting evaluations, the prosecution countered with expert witnesses, resulting in the judge siding against the defense motion, excluding the death penalty due to serious mental illness. More than 4 years have passed since Nytesha and Nylo were brutally murdered. Due to delays and repeated mental health evaluations, Deshaun Brown still awaits trial, now rescheduled for early 2025. All we hope is that Brown will finally face judgment and that Nytesha and Nylo will receive justice. The tragedy deepens with the grim possibility that Nylo's remains may never be found. The chance to say goodbye, to lay him to rest properly alongside his mother, has been cruelly stripped from his family. The weight of imagining their final moments is a burden few could shoulder. In true crime, while every case is tragic, some burn into our consciousness with almost unbearable cruelty and evil.
Cincinnati 911, what is the address for your emergency?
I found a dead body.
That's the voice of a security guard working at a construction site by the Purple People Bridge December 12th. It's the night he unknowingly spotted 29-year-old Nytesha Lattimore's body.
Somebody threw a bag, like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me. So I got up there and knocked it down. And It was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag.
The guard told a dispatcher he first thought it was Halloween props, but one touch and he knew it was real. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters says Lattimore's boyfriend, 21-year-old Deshaun Brown, stabbed her to death and left her in her Walnut Hills apartment 5 days. He says Brown bought a body bag on eBay and took her to the bridge in an Uber, claiming the bag was clothes. Investigators say Brown barbarically killed her 3-year-old son Nylo, throwing him into the river while alive. WLWT obtained a second 911 call from Nylo's aunt as family members searched in Walnut Hills.
And we came across this garbage can that had some shower curtains that looked like it got blood in it. And we just want to have a police officer come out here and look at this because it looks like it got tissue in it.
Nylo is presumed dead and has not been found. Investigators say the searches aren't over, but for those involved, the nightmares aren't either.
Yeah, I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never had anything like this.
Right.
I never thought, this is crazy.
Now, I talked to that security guard tonight. He told me that he did see a man on the bridge that night, but he was walking toward him and he didn't want any trouble. So the security guard said he went back to his vehicle to avoid a confrontation or any kind of issues, and he never saw that man again.
Thank you for listening to No Tears for Black Girls. Please download the Alive Podcast app and follow us on all major podcast platforms to stay updated with our latest content. If there is a topic or true crime case that you would like us to cover, please send us an email at notearsforblackgirls@gmail.com or visit our website, notearsforblackgirls.com, and leave us a voice message through our contact page. And always remember, stay loved, stay blessed, and be safe.